Chapter 2 The Automated Dreadnought. High above the throne world, a megalithic structure orbited the planet. Runa Starbase was among the largest in the galaxy, roughly the size of a small moon. The Galactic Emperor's flagship was located here, docked to the shipyard. The Stellaris was such a massive vessel that it was attached to the exterior of the structure by a series of docking ports and scaffolding systems. The shuttlecraft that delivered Cali and Dak to the vessel looked like a speck in comparison.
"Oh my goodness, everything here is huge!"
Cali declared as she stepped aboard the flagship. Stellaris was an overwhelming vessel. 3 times the size of an Alari battleship and almost 5 times the firepower. The Imperial flagship carried weapons and technology the likes of which she could barely comprehend. Dak laughed when Cali began to drool over the dark matter power plant and begged the chief engineer to let her join the next maintenance crew. Cali was in a particularly good mood these days. Dak had used some of his political clout to secure Cali's transfer to the Stellaris, allowing the couple to continue working together. The couple had worried about some resistance to the transfer by an officer or politician, but things went through without a hitch. Once the pair boarded the ship, the reason why became clear. The Imperial flagship Stellaris was an Alari vessel. Or rather, she was a joint Alari-Favarian warship, with both species being among the crew. Designed and built by Alari, the vessel was meant to be a gift from Cali's homeworld to the Galactic Emperor, and he accepted it with enthusiasm. Because the Stellaris was an Alari ship, her crew was mostly Alari. Cali and Dak could not remember the last time they found so many of their own people aboard a spacecraft so far from home. Dak was assigned the duties of a relief bridge officer, taking command of the ship whenever the commanding officer was not available. The Emperor had appointed someone to command Stellaris, but that person had not arrived yet. Serving alongside Dak was Lieutenant Commander Teek Yapana. Teek was a very hot-headed Alari who never hesitated to speak his mind. Teek was also outspoken about his beliefs. On their very first day aboard the Stellaris, Teek made his political opinions known when he stepped out of the communal showers and used his bath towel to cover up a portrait of the Galactic Emperor. Cali was given her dream job, an assignment in engineering. Her immediate superior was an Alari woman named Ruto Bitorak. She was the exact opposite of Teek, loyal to the Emperor to such a degree that Cali wondered if Ruto was secretly worshipping him. Ruto was, until Cali showed up, the only woman working in engineering, so the two were quick to find some spare time to bond and get to know each other. One morning, in the cafeteria, Ruto and Cali asked about each other's backgrounds.
"I'm void-born,"
Ruto explained.
"Born in space, aboard a passenger ship bound for Alaria. My family made a big show of my first steps on the home world, but I always loved being out here."
"Is that why you bought a commission?" Cali asked.
"Kind of,"
Ruto confessed.
"I know neither of us look like nobility, dressed in overalls and working on starship engines, but I'm from a new money family. My brother married a noblewoman who owns one of the outlying colonies. Before that, we lived day to day running a tourism company. Not poor, not rich either. Then everything changed. My parents told me that I needed to go out and make a name for myself so that our family can stay in the upper class. They gave me their savings and told me to buy the commander rank. So here I am. What about you?"
"My family is old money," Cali replied. "We were some of the first Alari to be made into nobles when our planet was brought into the Holy Favarian Empire. The Dakara families descended from let's say, a well-known spacefarer."
"Psh, don't be so humble,"
Ruto interrupted.
"Just say it." Vaki Jadir, the space pirate who held the throne world hostage 300 years ago. Your family is still living off the riches she stole, everyone knows.
Ruto winked.
You were set for an easy life, Dakara. Why the Imperial Navy?
Cali hesitated for a moment, as if unsure whether to reply. Then she leaned forward to whisper in Ruto's ear.
I'm on the run.
Ruto gasped, grabbed Cali, and pulled her close.
Are you serious? From who? Why?
Ruto demanded to know.
Tell me everything.
My parents showed up at home one day with this guy I'd never met before, never even heard of him. Mom and Dad said I was going to marry him. They even had a date for the ceremony and everything. Ruto furrowed her brow.
But aren't arranged marriages common in the aristocrats?
Yeah, Cali scoffed,
but this dude, he was an absolute monster. I saw it in his eyes the instant I met him. Whenever he talked, it was all about how he felt and what he wanted and what he was willing to give me. And then he had the gall to say that I was lucky he found me. I got chills. So you ran? Ruto asked. You really ran away from your own wedding? Damn right, Cali said. I got away with just enough money to buy the lowest possible officer rank. Being an ensign is so much better than spending another moment with that freak. Couldn't your parents find you? Ruto said. What if Van finds you? Doesn't matter if they do, Cali replied, thumping her chest with pride. I turned 20 years old before they could find me. I'm legally an adult on Alaria, and the law says only children can get betrothed. Now, I'm the only one who gets a vote on who I marry.
Ruto and Cali spent a lot of time in the ship's artificial intelligence core, where they were working on a very ambitious project. The Galactic Emperor wanted the shipboard AI to be expanded to such a point that the vessel could operate with a minimal crew, despite being the size of a planetoid. Cali and Ruto both loved the concept of an automated Dreadnought. No such vessel had ever flown before, and Cali desperately wanted to be the first engineer to build it. She put the entire engineering team to work on the project right away. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Teak and Dak drilled for battle. Combat training in the Imperial military is an interesting affair. There has not been a full-scale war between nations since the foundation of the Holy Favarian Empire almost 1,000 years ago. What conflicts did occur were small in scale. Occasional slave revolts brought destruction to cities and towns, but were put down quickly by the armed forces. Uncivilized space creatures needed to be cleared out of the hyperlanes. Warships chased rogue mining drones and pirates. This latter scenario is what the Stellaris trained for. This one vessel was so massive and powerful that it could take down entire armadas of pirate ships single-handed. The prestige surrounding the Imperial flagship gave it value in diplomacy as well. Across the entire galaxy, there were 30 spacefaring civilizations and almost 50 sentient species, all subjugated under the Galactic Emperor's rule. The Imperial Navy was required to keep the peace between the many subject nations, lest factional disputes or interspecies conflict give way to something far worse. In the past, such incidents have occurred, proving the need for the Imperial military to exist. The reptilian Zin people went through a political upheaval almost 4 centuries ago. Disputes between local warlords very nearly led to a civil war on the Tzin homeworld. A few skirmishes claimed dozens of lives before the Imperial military arrived to defuse the situation. 250 years ago, the Mandasura Collective, a race of hive-minded plantoids, launched a full-scale invasion of a pre-FTL society on the planet Sol 3. A majority of human refugees traveled to Alaria due to the physical similarities between the two species. This act of war against the Emperor's will triggered a tense political crisis that would persist for a decade. In the end, All 7 billion members of the human species were forcibly evicted from their homeworld to make room for Mandasura settlers. Nowadays, the human diaspora is scattered throughout the galaxy. The Alari government, with permission from the Galactic Emperor, set aside a single star system for the displaced, and now the humans have a planet to call their own once again. Cali had visited the human reservation once. She remembered how much she loved the human people and wished she would get to see them again someday. For about 2 weeks, Cali and Dak settled into their new lives aboard the Stellaris, finding that they were very happy with the arrangement. In the back of their minds, both of them made a mental note to thank the Galactic Emperor for the opportunity to serve aboard his personal flagship. They would never get the chance. About 2 weeks after Cali and Dak arrived on the Stellaris, an incredible series of events happened. The news reached Stellaris in multiple ways: encrypted military communication, unencrypted transmissions, and by a Xenonian news broadcast. By the time the news actually reached the ship, it was too late to take any action. All Cali and her comrades could do was meet on the bridge to discuss what had just happened. First Akoth, then Tukethu, and now we have Kentrep. I never thought we would see the year of 3 sovereigns. 2 galactic emperors and 1 empress. Dak finished his statement and raised a glass of Hasbuzan wine. Cali, Teak, and Ruto all sat around the map table on the bridge, staring at one another in absolute disbelief. Out of the forward window, the 4 officers could see Throne World Ikes. Huge columns of acrid black smoke rose from the cityscapes below. Cali grabbed a glass of wine, her hands shaking so much that liquid splashed the tabletop and stained a map of the planet. Do we know, like, casualty figures? Cali dared to ask. About 150 dead so far, Teak said. Mostly people in the immediate vicinity of the Imperial Palace. Dak let out an angry roar and flung his wine glass across the room. It hit the plasma screen and smashed loudly, distorting the video of the news report. "Why?" Dak yelled. "Whose bright idea was that? What absolute moron woke up this morning and said, 'Oh, I think I'm going to drive my battle tank through the center of the royal city and shoot up the Imperial Palace'? What the hell happened down there this morning?" Ruto shuddered. We have to focus on the important part," Ruto said. "The Galactic Emperor is dead. Long live the Galactic Empress. Long may Kentrep reign." It was Cali's turn to lose her cool. She exploded on Ruto. "Are you kidding me right now? We just witnessed a coup. Kentrep just overthrew her own brother and probably had him executed. She usurped the throne." "Don't say that," Ruto protested. "Kentrep is in charge now. You can't speak ill of her like that." Ruto stood up and pointed to the main superstructure of the shipyard, saying, "Soon the new Empress will send someone to make sure of our loyalty. We need to prostrate ourselves and swear new oaths of vassalage on behalf of all Alaria if we need to." Cali, Dak, and Teak all scoffed at the idea. "You're kidding, right?" Dak said to Ruto. "These people are supposed to be our overlords, but they can't even keep order on their own throne world. The Imperial family are feuding with each other so badly they've started killing each other, and now the army is getting in on the action. Don't you see what this means?" Ruto gave Dak a disgusted look. Cali understood the implication. "How can the Galactic Empress project authority over the rest of the galaxy if she can't keep her own family from wrecking the palace?" Cali said. "Yeah, I see what you mean. This could be bad." "Time will tell," Teak said. "Kentrep will be taking command of the Imperial military soon. We should sit tight and wait for orders."